Well, it has certainly been a very, very long time since continuing with Three Houses when we were right in the middle of this playthrough. Be frank, I'm not even 100% certain where we're at here, quite frankly. I'm not even certain, but what I do know after my icon stopped going crazy, after I looked it up in the playlist here, apparently the Golden Deer route started on April 10th, 2020, and the last kind of session, or it went until July 21st, 2020, and then I kind of stopped playing it after there's a whole bunch of other things, and I just really got really fed up with playing Three Houses, considering I have how many hours? That was a side thing. I have 214 hours apparently, and that doesn't include like failed attempts at maps I've needed to restart. I don't even know what chapter we're on right now. I'm not 100% certain. But at the time of streaming this, it's currently the 9th of January, 2021. So considering it was July 2020 last time I played this, it's literally been like over half a year basically. So like one of the big reasons for the break from Three Houses, I did initially want to finish off the Golden Deer route before taking a massive break like that. But I wound up taking a massive break like that mid playthrough because every time where I felt like I should continue with Three Houses, I just really didn't want to, because oh yeah, it's a freaking sad chapter. Wait, do I have a paralogue to go do? Dividing the world, oil and what? Oh, it's those ones. Oh, what's my team even look like? We're like mid-20s for most of us. Raphael's at level 19 for some reason. Is it because I use Balthus more? Oh yeah, I had Petra and Net. I was like, why are they in here? I did that so they could support with Claude, didn't I? And then I recruited people that I needed for like paralogs and stuff. Or something. I mean, I could give out some exams and stuff. Here, you wanna do the thing, I guess? Sure, I suppose? I don't know. There have been a few things that changed around the surroundings since the last time continuing with this. For one, the freaking lights around the circumference of the room here, which if I actually load up the thing on my phone, interestingly enough, I can change the color and all kinds of different settings with my phone here. So if I want it to like pulse really fast like that and freaking, nah, let's not do, wait, you're my dancer, aren't you? I don't know where I check that. Yeah, let's stop having this pulsate. I just kind of like solid green, honestly. I just kind of like solid green for that. Fetters of what do the Fetters of Dromi do? What are those? What? It has literally been half a year. Lost Relic, Christopher, been increasing movement, allows me to move again and we have damage. Oh, that's a thing that's just like Kanto, and it affects after dancing, and that's why I made Yuri a dancer, isn't it? That's like his thingamabob or something. I have a bunch of exam thingamabobs I can give out. So one of the big reasons that I didn't play Three Houses for half a year is because every time I was like, okay, this sitting I'm totally going to continue with like Three Houses rather than streaming anything else. I just couldn't get motivated to, because I'm literally halfway through my third playthrough of this 70-hour JRPG, and I'm kind of getting tired of seeing the same first half over and over again. So my original plan was to do like all 4 routes and such. I honestly might not even do that. I might finish off with the Golden Deer route, and then just say like, yeah, I'm done, I'm not doing any more of this. I apparently currently have 226 episodes of this on YouTube, each of which average an hour. And, so this will be 227 right now, which is absolutely insane and the longest single game playthrough I've ever done and probably will ever do for a very long time. But I just couldn't really get that motivated to continue with it. Like there's other games like Fire Emblem, The Sacred Stones, Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem freaking Fates, even Fire Emblem Echoes, where it's like, okay, you have an overworld to do, you have a whole bunch of like side activities and paralogs, well, maybe not Echoes in that case, but you have like a whole bunch of activities you can do around the world, continue decking out your party, stuff like that. I began to realize that my biggest problem with Three Houses is the fact that it's kind of like the older Fire Emblem game style of just one story chapter to another, and there's no, oh, well, I guess there's an overworld, but What I mean is, after you've beaten the game in something like Awakening or Fate, you can still continue decking out your parties, continuing to make better and better builds, using those in like various multiplayer features that were available in Awakening and Fates. You can do the DLC maps with your decked out parties, which can include some super challenging things like Apotheosis that you can take a while to grind for. Whereas Three Houses is just story start to finish, and when there are like other paralogs to do, it's just like littered in the middle of like, you know, your other schedule kind of stuff that, sure, become an assassin, I guess, sure. Just kind of littered in the middle of the story stuff that you're otherwise doing. Like, there's no, after you've beaten the game, there's no thing after that unless you do another playthrough from the beginning. So I can't try to like max out my characters, go for any max stats or anything. I'll stay in current class for now because it's probably not max. Yeah, I guess so. Would I ever want to use Cyril in this freaking playthrough? I mean, I don't know, I'll give him a freaking thingamabob anyway. Like, for example, with my Blue Lines playthrough, that was 105 parts long, because I took the time to, like, perfect as much as I could, and have, like, my perfected save file. And then at the end, the game is just like, oh, would you like to save right before the freaking credits? And I was like, okay, and I save right before the credits. So every time I load up that save file that I have over 100 hours in, it just plays the credits. And that's it. So, like, the file that I put over 100 hours into trying to perfect all my characters as much as I could, it's just gone. It's literally unplayable. It's void. It's null because of the format of this game. So I feel like one of the biggest reasons that I couldn't get as into Three Houses as, say, Fire Emblem games such as Awakening, Fates, Sacred Stones, ones that have that kind of format with like the overworld and all kinds of side activities do and stuff like that, is because all this game is just like plot start to finish, and then once you're done with that, guess what? You're forced to put the game down. You can't do anymore unless you want to do like the other routes. Whereas the other games are just like, oh, want to make like some more builds, want to do some more side activities, want to recruit more characters, go ahead. So I don't think I'm as fond of the format in Three Houses and such. But if you close your eyes, does it feel like nothing's changed at all? It's been so long since I played this game, I have no idea what's going on. It's the freaking sad boyo month, which means that we should apparently be getting close to like the time skip, and then maybe I'd be more motivated to play freaking Three Houses here after it's like new stuff that I haven't done before after a couple in-game months. Hello Lancer, hope you're doing well today. But yeah, so recently, well, I've only just now started Three Houses to pick that up again and finish it off. And I've recently picked up Awakening again, as Lancer knows, picked up Awakening again to finish off stuff with that. So I can say that both of these are properly finished off, and then move on to other games, notably other Fire Emblem games, so that I don't feel bad about leaving the other ones unfinished beforehand. Which, speaking of, a lot of my time earlier today was actually spent grinding in Fire Emblem Awakening to, you know, get ready for Apotheosis mostly, because Apotheosis freaking scares me. Also, it's late at night, so we have Dogi Cam on and stuff. But yeah, that's my story with that. Doing good, played a little bit of Trials of Mana. Oh, nice. I've heard a little bit about that. I don't really know anything about it. This is the one that gives us like the experience gem, isn't it? Oil and water. Time to do this one for the third time. Man, I'm so freaking hyped. Just look at how hyped I am to do this.
It's raining, Professor. On rainy days, the wound I got from the Death Knight hurts like fire. Every time it aches, I get angry. You understand, yeah? I'm sure they had their reasons to kidnap Flame, but still. Did they really need to stab me? What'd I have to do with it? They ruined my beautiful porcelain skin. Worse, they took off before I could stab them back. So rude.
That's rather enough, Manuela. Cease your moaning and give the professor a break.
Oh, stuff it, Hanneman. Unlike you, the professor has a big heart and listens to me talk about any problem I have.
More likely, your incessant ramblings offer no chance to interrupt.
Is that true, Professor?
So I'm hearing in the chat right now that apparently the stream is a little bit royally screwed. And I thought it was just my, like, I knew I couldn't load up my stream on my laptop because my laptop was being dumb. But there's a chance that after I come back to 3 houses in over half a year, that things might just not be working. I'm trying to play it on my phone, and it's not doing anything. Like, it's just, like, it's not even playing. Like, it's just a black screen when I load up on my phone. And on my PC, or on my laptop over here, it's like the video download was cancelled. I'm hearing that other streams are fine, but mine is apparently screwed. Is my internet not even going to cooperate this time? To let me freaking stream this? After over half a year of being gone? Hold on. If I try to load up my stream, what a freaking awful turn of events after coming back after like half a year. It's only my channel. Because I'm not dropping any frames or anything. Welp. I mean, I don't know if it's recording any of this, but like, the video download was canceled. Please try again. Error number 1000. I'll try ending the stream and starting again, but like, I'll try. I mean, let's see. So it has been half a year. I think the stream is working right now. I tried about 20 minutes ago and it didn't work and everything fell apart, and I think everything should be okay now. It seems to be okay. Alright, I appreciate the heads up, Hawksquarter. Apparently restarting my PC worked. Oh yeah, we were gonna do this that we've done like 3 times. Okay, so essentially hold on, whoa, wait. I'm just, wait, can I, hold on. We've done this 3 times, so we can skip the thing. So, anyway, it has literally been over half a year since I've continued with Fire Emblem 3 Houses, is the thing. It is currently the 9th of January, 2021, and apparently, according to playlists here that I might not have open anymore since I restarted my computer. Oh, no, it looks like it has it open anyway. We started the Golden Deer playthrough on April 10th, 2020, and we went until July 21st, 2020. And then I didn't touch it again for like half a year. And then I tried to come back to it like half an hour ago finally, and my computer was just like, oh, you think you're streaming? How about you don't actually get the stream? How about you just send like a black screen of death to anybody who wants to tune in? So I tried restarting OBS a couple times, and that didn't really seem to help. And then I restarted my entire computer, and now it seems to be functioning, I guess. I need to remember what is even going on with our entire party, considering it has literally been how do I zoom out? Minus, apparently. It has literally been half a year here. My oh why. Hello, Lancer, and hello as well, Hawks. Welcome to the shenanigans here. I remember this chapter. Don't we have some? No, we don't have anybody starting over there. We just have others who are gonna start there. Okay, I'm remembering my button. No, I'm not remembering my button. Okay, I am remembering my buttons. Weird thing is the VOD had the video showed correctly, but only the stream was not able to be seen. So odd. Huh, so I'll probably edit it together at the end in that case for when this is uploaded. In that case, which I guess will, at least that'll save me from like repeating myself too much. I mean, I'll probably go into detail again anyway about, you know, me not continuing this for a while. Your level's low. Something else that came to my attention before I started the stream is I had to look again at my freaking Excel spreadsheet on my phone that I made for this game like a year and a half ago, if not closer to 2 years ago. Wow, it's been a while since 3 Houses came out, hasn't it? Okay, but it wasn't 2 years ago that I did the thing, the spreadsheet. Or was it? 3 Houses came out in 2018? Is this a 2018 game or is it a 2019? It's gotta be a 2019 one. Yeah, it's a 2019 one. But still, I'm freaking getting completely mixed up. But yeah. You've had this glitch happen to you plenty of times before. You never heard of anyone other than you having it. What, the good old black screen of death on Twitch that was apparently going on. So anyway, while I was looking at my spreadsheet there, I noticed that it seems that my plans for like the party that I would take throughout this game was going to be like all the Golden Deer kids, all the, what are they called again? Ashen Wolves, I believe, kiddos. And then Flane and Anna. And that was going to be, like, my plan, essentially. Because this would be, like, I figured this would be the route where I showcased her as, like, a DLC character, I guess. But, if I recall from playing this, like, half a year ago, apparently she, like, really, really sucks, and her growth rates are freaking god-awful. So, I mean, maybe as this goes on, like, before the time skip, maybe I'll ask for, like, suggestions for, you know, a final party unit who, like, wouldn't be Anna, I guess, if anybody has, like, any preferences or something like that, or any suggestions. Who'd be good? There's my sniper. Hello, Anima. How are you doing today? Oh, yeah, I have a dark flyer? Before we've even gotten to the time skip? I have 2 dark flyers and Thirstus on Lysithia. Wait, hold on. What's everybody's classes? Why is Claude a warrior? Wait. Is he trying to perfect warrior? He's trying to perfect warrior so that he can get the freaking crazy OP build, I guess. Wait, okay, what classes are everyone? Bishop, sniper, trickster. I guess just because I could put you into that, you're brawler. I have a whole bunch of other characters recruited just for, like, Claude to support with. Wait, speaking of, who else does he need to support with for that, from those nerds? I guess Petra? I can give him as an adjutant? Because I'm starting to remember that this was, like, part of my plans, right? Or something? Or something like that. Yeah, Anna is not exactly the best, to say the least. I'm a trickster right now, apparently. Huh. Okay. So I'm apparently a trickster, a tricky trickster. Oh, but Marianne is my freaking physic user. So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of options here, do I? Let's see here. I'll just freaking give him experience like that, and then I can just, I don't even know. It's been so long. So, as I was mentioning before everything died, is it really just this little group here that we have? Okay. Hold on. Whoa, wait here. Sure, let's go ahead and save, and then we'll just, like, fight and stuff and begin the battle. And we've done this, like, 3 times, so I'm gonna skip this, because it's literally the 3rd time doing this paralog, even though I probably haven't done this paralog in over a year. Oh, the X button doesn't bring up the... Oh, it's ZR. This is gonna be strange coming back to this. So, as I was describing before everything died, and if I do edit this together, then, you know, it'll be heard a 2nd time anyway, but it's worth mentioning again. Oh, freaking silver. I have a brave sword, apparently. Cool. Let's put on the silver sword plus, and then I can, like...
Leave it to me.
I'm very, very tempted to, like... Oh. I'm doing it despite the fact that Lysithia might just die from freaking the other dudos, is the thing. Oh, battalion level up for a battalion that I've never used before. Oh, cool. This is going to be very strange coming back to the... Oh, Claude is probably going to need to go forward, is the thing. Okay, we're out of the mage's range there. Yeah, welcome back to Maddening, huh? Oh, Brave Bow, then. I have a Brave Bow Plus, apparently. Wonder when I got that. Probably, like, over half a year ago, technically speaking. Oh, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of XP to pass around when Mare's super high level and stuff. Compared to what I'm supposed to be here. Oh, yeah, there's the whole Kanto thingamabob. I can only double if I use the Brave Bow, so I'm doing it, I guess. So yeah, as I was describing before everything died, and what I guess I'll wind up repeating, is the fact that one of my least favorite things about 3 houses is... Wait, attack? Oh, silence. Sure. How dare you silence me? Let's hope it's a good level up. Games like, say, Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Fates, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones even, Fire Emblem Echoes. Games like that will have, you know, kind of general map and general side activities that you can do, similar to, like, the monastery here, whether it be, like, an overworld or it be, like, my castle in the case of Fates. I guess I'll move Manuela here. Attack? Oh, also with silence. Sure. Hello, hello, Vit. Hope it's going well today. Can't shake the vision of a freaking EXP obtained and stuff. In games like those, after you've beaten the game, there's still, like, more to do. I'm not doubling. Maybe it only doubles if you start combat with a brave weapon. Maybe something like that. Whoa! 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 Oh, thank goodness you can't go after her. Whoa!
I'm good at training.
Oh, you mastered skills for Brawler. Okay. Whoa! This dude was about to take out Lysithea in literally one turn there. That is so not okay. My goodness. Also, the quality of the stream on my laptop is the worst thing ever. So I hope that's not the case on the actual stream. I hope that's just my laptop being dumb. So if anybody could let me know, just to make the stream quality isn't like freaking, I don't know, how would I measure like the amount of pixels? Like, it's not even 140p, it's like 50p, whatever that comes down to. Looks fine on your end? Okay, that's good. It's just my laptop being dumb then. Anyway, with games like Awakening or Fates, stuff like that, you can beat the game and then it's like, hey, guess what? There's still like more stuff that you can do, and oh man, I can't. Well, I can take you out with Lysithea maybe. Yeah, we can use OP gauntlets that are very, very strong in this game. In games like those, it's like, oh, you've beaten the game. Okay, now you still have like an overworld that there's like stuff to do, more items to buy. You can freaking level up your characters some more if you want. You can go ahead and, you know, try to really perfect your builds and such. Have fun with that. Let's see here. Sure, I'll try taking you out. When DLC comes out, you can do... Oh, come on! You can do those maps with, like, your build. Sometimes there'll be, like, super challenging maps, like Apotheosis, that... wow, you can really challenge yourself in. Oh, man. That you can super challenge yourself in and use your perfected builds to do these crazy maps and yada yada, all this fun stuff. Whereas in Three Houses, it's like, once you beat the game, it's just like, okay, you've beaten the game. Now move on with your life. Now we're gonna force you to freaking put the game onto the shelf to collect dust and not be able to do anything with it again. Unless you want to do like another playthrough from the very beginning again and let some of your progress transfer over with like Renown, which isn't even the best system, considering the more Renown you spend in your playthrough, the less Renown you're carrying over to the next save file in the next New Game Plus line, and therefore the less stuff that you can carry over during that next file, and it's a freaking mess. I could honestly do a video essay on why I don't really like the progression of Fire Emblem Three Houses, and it's one of the reasons why I didn't play it for half a year, actually, is because I just got fed up of like the same old over and over again, and the fact that at the end of the day your progress becomes meaningless because it's thrown away, essentially, because all you can use it for is for like one kind of story battle to another constantly. I might just have to have Lysithea fall back or something. I mean, wow, these hit rates kind of suck. I'm gonna try this, I guess. Crest of Gloucester. Sure, miss with an animation like that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. That's just like, for example, my freaking Blue Lions playthrough. I spent like as much time as I could, like perfecting all my units, making the strongest possible builds that I could. Just doing as much as I could there, and that's why it's a freaking 105-part series in that one of 3 playthroughs alone. Try it again. And like I put a lot of time into that, a lot of time and care and such. And then at the end, it prompted me to save before the credits, and I did that. So now every time I load up that save file, it just plays out the credits again, is all it does. And that's all my save file like ever is anymore. Is 105 hours into one file perfecting a whole bunch of characters, and all I have to show for it is a credit sequence where I can never even check any of like my previous builds again. I can have some of it transfer over if I want to spend Renown, which therefore like hurts me more in the next New Game Plus and yada yada. So at the end of the day, after spending that much time in it, it just gives me a feeling of emptiness, and like everything that I'd worked towards had just been taken away, you know, and it's not a good feeling. I wouldn't say. Oh man, well, I guess I'll just, like, freaking silver axe you or something. Is what I will do.
The victory is mine.
Like, it's not a very good feeling. So when I continued making progress more and more in my Golden Deer playthrough that I stopped about half a year ago, it's because every time I felt like, oh, I should be streaming Fire Emblem 3 Houses to make progress in that and coming closer to beating that, so that's like off the to-do list and yada yada, I just couldn't get myself motivated to do so because it just... This game is designed in such a way that after 1 or 2 playthroughs, it just makes it feel like your progress is meaningless. And I no longer have that enjoyment of, you know, perfecting a build like I do in, you know, other games in the series, because this game doesn't allow for that. It's just like, do the best that you can.
That's the
in,
Golden Deer for you.
You know, from the story beginning to end. And once you've gotten to the end of the story, then guess what? Goodbye. You can never touch that save file ever again. Like, even if I saved right before the final boss, rather than saving, like, after it, then at best, I'd still... Oh yeah, he already has advantage and he got an 8% crit! Okay, this game still has its moments. This game still has its moments. Oh man, he was literally about to die right there to this assassin coming for him. But he freaking advantage 8% critted that guy. Oh my goodness, Claude, you freaking never cease to amaze, my goodness. But yeah, I put in all that hard work, like putting Claude into freaking a warrior class that he would normally never be in, just for the sake of giving him OP builds and crazy things I put him into other classes for, like Vantage, that very clearly really helped me there in order to tackle Maddening. But I can't help but feel like by the end of this, I'm just going to be immensely disappointed knowing that all my progress was for nothing, that it's a save file that I can never come back to, where at the very best, it's a save file where all I can come back to do is, like, the final boss. Whereas if I come back to an old save file, like Awakening or something like that, it's like, oh, here's my save file. Here's all my characters. I can reclass everybody to, like, whatever their options are and whatever I feel works best, customize their weapons, go into any, like, DLC missions, maybe do some paralogs that I haven't done before, go do some skirmishes, yada yada, stuff like that. Whereas this is just, like, the story start to finish, along with these other things that you can do along the side. But every time you do, like, any action,
Stay focused.
like, any action at all that, like, progresses the story along and such, that brings you just that little smidge closer to never being able to do anything on that save file ever again. And it's just not that good of a feeling, to the point that I might honestly make a video essay on Fire Emblem 3 Houses and this very subject, on just why I can't get motivated to, like, really continue with it. Like, my original plan was to do all 4 routes, but at this rate, I'm thinking I might just finish off Golden Deer, and then just be like, yeah, I'm done with 3 Houses. Nope, I'm putting it down, not coming back to it again. Unless I want to do, like, the freaking Empire route in a challenge run kind of way. Like, I know for a while I discussed the idea of a flaw training challenge through the Black Eagles Empire route, which could be intriguing and could potentially add some more spice freaking, you know, playing that route on Maddening Classic while, you know, being forced to train only flaws and such, you know, could be interesting. But yeah, anyway, sorry that I missed the one thing from forever ago, Lancer. I saw you post it, but when I ramble on about things, I like to finish rambling on about things. But yeah, at least it isn't like Final Fantasy Tactics that uses a similar world map to later FE games, but at the end game you're forced into like 6 battles in a row, and if you save in between any of them, you can never go back to the map. Well, sounds like freaking great game design. I can apparently attack from here. 3 Houses is super fun to play during actual combat sections, but do agree with you that the save file lock is stupid. And just like the whole general system of just like, oh, you know, every time you make any progress, you're just inching closer to the end. And I mean, there were plenty of Fire Emblem games that were like that. Like, I played, my first Fire Emblem game I ever played was Fire Emblem 7, The Blazing Sword. I'm gonna turn down the game sound a little bit. I turned it up for some other game recently. So, you know, I don't know what I was saying there after I adjusted the volume and stuff. Lysithia's just gonna be freaking sniping people and stuff. Oh, Manuela still needs to move and such. It sounds like you're doing a review right now. I mean, that's basically what's going on here, essentially. It's basically my explanation for why I haven't been motivated to come back to this game in over half a year. And Yeah, the whole save file lock thing. It sounds really dumb like that in Final Fantasy Tactics, but the whole thing with there being a save file lock in this game also sucks. Anytime I literally have a save file with approximately 105 hours in it, if I wanted to roughly guesstimate. And I can never load up that save file ever again because anytime I do, it just plays out the credit sequence. Is the thing. Should I go over to that one? Oh, crap, this is gonna be a little bit sketchy. Like, any way I go is kind of the thing. Let's go ahead and dance for you. Gotta level up for Balthus. Because in something like, if I was playing like Awakening or Fates or something like that, I look at that level up and I'm like, oh hey, I'm like one more level up or some more stats closer to reaching like max stats. Whereas in this, it's just like, oh, that's just something that's gonna help me beat the story more, I guess. But that's it, really. Well, I'm just gonna one-shot you, I guess. You don't really double people a whole lot in Maddening, do you? It's strange coming back to this. It's strange because I'm coming back to both Fire Emblem Awakening and Fire Emblem Three Houses, like, generally right now on the channel. Coming back to both of them to finish them both off and such. Let's see here. I could probably just have Lysithea delete this armor dude from a range where he can't even do anything. So, like... But yeah, I might honestly give like a full review of Fire Emblem Three Houses, something in that style. Because now I can talk about things that, you know, I wouldn't have been able to talk about before, essentially. Because this is now the perspective of somebody who has about 220 hours in this game. I mean, like, what would it roughly say on my profile, anyway? Played for 250 hours or more. Okay. So, from the perspective of somebody who has 250 hours in the game at least, and, you know, is trying to get motivated to experience all of the story since I still haven't yet. Like, there's now these issues that arise, and, you know, whatever. We've seen it 3 times. I don't have the motivation to freaking see it again right now. So I just found it really hard to get motivated to come back to this in the past 6 months. And the only reason I'm doing it now is because, like, hey, I have the time, let's just commit to this, get it over with, and then I don't have any obligation to continue it ever again. I probably didn't have any obligation to continue it in the first place, considering I already have 226 episodes of this game on YouTube, each which average a freaking hour. But here I am back to it anyway, because it feels better to finish things off properly. You'd normally double, but can't because I'm using gauntlets or something? No, you can't double for some other reason, and I don't know what it is, but, like, it's something?
No hesitation.
I'm getting a crit. But yeah, though with this, you can't just make a save outside those final battles to continue faffing about in the overworld like you can in Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, so I guess this is, like, with the exception of, like, sure, I made a mistake of saving right before the credits after the game prompted me to. But even if I hadn't saved before the credits, then all those 105 hours would be able to, like, go towards is just being able to replay the final boss, and that's it. Instead of being able to, like, still have an overworld and things to do, and still be able to, like, continue to make my characters better and improve and stuff like that, and continue to experiment and stuff, and... Like, I just really don't like that approach in Three Houses, quite frankly. I do think the stories are very intriguing, and I do look forward to finally being able to experience the freaking, you know, stuff that I haven't seen before once we get to there in the Golden Deer playthrough. We have a couple in-game months to go before the time skip still. But once we get past that, I will be looking forward to experiencing some new stuff. But even still, I can't just help but feel, like, demotivated to continue in this game a lot of the time. What am I supposed to do about this situation? Oh yeah, I have gambits. What kind of gambit do I have? Gambits are a thing in this game. Resident Lightning, huh? But yeah, I agree that this is a game that's hard to motivate oneself to play. You only ever beat Golden Deer, you cannot motivate yourself to play the other ones. Just watch the other storylines on YouTube. And yeah, that's probably what I'd recommend, like, people doing rather than, you know, seeing the whole thing, or playing through the whole thing themselves and seeing the first half over and over. I shouldn't say seeing the first half, but playing the first half over and over and over again and having their progress go down the drain. I feel like Fire Emblem Three Houses is a game that's better watched than played, honestly. Like, after this, what am I supposed to do about this? After this, I'd probably just, you know, either put the game down forever or only come back after doing, like, a freaking, if I want to do the thingamabob. Thank goodness I have Stride. Or only come back to this after freaking deciding I want to do like the super crazy challenge run for charity or something. This sucks. I can't even hit anybody else with this. What is my movement right now? Stride gives what? Let's see here. Movement +5 until the end of the turn. What's my movement? So I believe that's boosted to 10 with stride, right? Yeah, so 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, so I wouldn't be able to go any farther even if this archer wasn't in the way. Because I was about to say maybe I could get my unit into the range over there, but it doesn't look like that's particularly going to be an option. Everybody, I think, is going to want Manuela dead. Oh my goodness, this actually sucks. She's... Oh my goodness, I was about to say she's part of my freaking party, so maybe I gave her a better gambit or something. Okay, this actually sucks. That's not okay! Like, I can deal with this group of 3 and this archer, but I straight up can't deal with this one. Another reason why I guess I haven't done this in freaking forever is good game design. Like, I can hit these ones to make them not move. I mean, maybe. I mean, I can try. I honestly expected it to miss. I honestly did. I can bait over the armor one, but not the freaking other dudo, unless... You don't have rescue, do you? You have physic. But yeah, personally wasn't super into the actual storylines with 3 Houses. This is really good character writing and is easily the game's biggest strength. Oh, I would agree with that for sure. I would definitely agree with that. I literally have to chalk it up to luck about whether or not Manuela survives. Basically. I need to have like one of those 78% miss, or else I'm screwed. But yeah, Final Fantasy does that quite often, even in the main game line. Like Final Fantasy 8, you go to the last area and save, and you could literally no longer leave the area ever again. So if you did prepare for 2 bosses plus a 3-arm final boss all back to back, you're literally screwed. Better hope you never saved. Did that all back in the day and screwed yourself, and you had to restart the whole game from the beginning. Jeez. Wait. Oh, I'm not as screwed as I thought I was. Oh, thank goodness, hallelujah. You know, that sort of happened to me with Fire Emblem Awakening, except in Lunatic Plus / Classic mode. In that game, you can only grind after Chapter 4, and Lunatic Plus, the game is so absurdly difficult that if you get to Chapter 2 and you did not get, which is already hard enough as is, if you get to Chapter 2 and you did not get good enough level ups on your avatar, then you need to start the game from the beginning again and freaking cross your fingers for better growth rates. Is kind of the thing. Let's see here. But yeah, Final Fantasy 8 is also not a very good game. I've literally never played a Final Fantasy game to the end. Maybe one of these days on this channel. Yeah, that was a pretty good growth rate. Too bad at the end of this freaking save file, it's not really gonna mean anything. But yeah, I'm honestly debating about making a video essay on Fire Emblem 3 Houses and why I don't like the way that it handles its progression in comparison to other Fire Emblem games. Speaking of, I'm actually working on a video essay right now on Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity and its progression. On its progression and its leitmotifs more specifically. But still, I'm technically working on a video essay on another game that I don't quite like the progression of, being Age of Calamity. Which is like super surprising considering when I was playing through most of that game, I was like, this game is freaking awesome. I'm totally gonna like 100% this game. But then towards the end, I was just like, the progression of this in post-game is not very engaging. Especially compared to the original Hyrule Wars, it did it much better. I turned the game down a couple more decibels since it seems kind of loud. Turn it down a bit more. Alright, we can still get out of this situation. Is the thing. You know, I actually, a very long time ago, like when I was a brand new content creator, one of my favorite streamers at the time had personally recommended to me Final Fantasy X because it was his favorite game of all time. So, back when I was a brand new content creator, like, it was my 3rd or 4th playthrough I ever tried on the channel, something like that. Maybe even before then, maybe it was like this... That might have even been before Kirby Star Allies, which was the first one I uploaded. No, it couldn't have been. It must have been after that, because it was something that I was planning on uploading and I had, like, thumbnails for. I did start a playthrough of Final Fantasy X. But this was, like, as a very, very brand new streamer who, like, stream to 0 viewers like 90% of my streams. Like I was new and I would very rarely, if ever, have anybody tune in. So because of that, combined with my inexperience, I had nobody to tell me that the audio was completely busted. Like completely borked over. Like it was freaking ear rape kind of broken audio. The game's audio was glitching out so much. So I guess anybody who did tune in was just like, oh, this sounds awful, and would immediately leave. I presumably would take, because sometimes like people would stop it but then leave immediately. Like nobody ever wrote anything in chat. So I would presume they would just leave because of the audio issues, instead of saying like, oh, hey, Mr. New Streamer, who's like clearly not used to streaming and stuff like that. Do you have a ranged weapon? How are you attacking it? Whoops. How do I zoom out? Minus. Oh, it's the archer that would attack there. I mean, I won't be able to counter attack that. I can just like chill here anyway. So I didn't have anybody to tell me that stuff was borked. So I only did 2 streams of it, 2 sessions, and from there I just stopped. I think it might still exist somewhere on my computer. Should I see if I can find it? I heard that Final Fantasy X is one of the best by some, and the beginning of the franchise's Dark Age by others. Because yeah, it was the favorite game of all time by the streamer that I watched a whole bunch at the time. Except he hated Final Fantasy X too, like with a vengeance. He set up Nightbot in such a way that if anybody had any statement in his chat that included the words Final Fantasy X-2, Nightbot just automatically deleted the message on the spot. It was kind of great. But hold on, where would I find it? It might still exist somewhere on my computer. Maybe. I need to literally switch my display over to HDMI 1 briefly, because I guess the folder opened on display capture 1 for whatever reason. So now I switch it back over to the game. Hold on, I'm gonna look at my folder where I put everything. Do I have a folder for Final Fan? Hey, I do have a folder for Final Fan. It's literally just 2 videos. That's literally all it is. So, like, hold on, if I pause this, also ignore the fact that freaking Minecraft is one of the icons. I've been thinking about starting a series on, like, Minecraft PC for, like, over a year now, and I was wondering if I could use the Switch to, like, cross-platform, like, record, like, time lapses of builds from a distance. But it wound up being more complicated than I thought. I logged into, like, some weird Microsoft account on here, but it doesn't let me do the same thing on my freaking desktop because I have a Mojang account instead, and I have no idea how to do that, so I might just uninstall that freaking thing from here later. I have no idea. So, just ignore the fact that Minecraft's there. That's my explanation into that. I apparently have a folder right here labeled Final Fantasy X-2 in my freaking video editing folder. That's just what my video editor is Camtasia Studio. I apparently did 2 streams of it, and I guess these are the 2 streams. What if I re-upload them someday just for fun? Hold on, what? If I open this, what is it? Is it on the other screen?
Full screen?
No, gosh darn it. Now I have to switch my display over to HDMI 1 again.
No full screen?
And drag it over here. I hear my voice from forever ago on my freaking... on my laptop, my built-in microphone. Here. So, this was like one of the earliest playthroughs ever done on my channel. Look at that freaking border that I used to have that was a whole bunch of like generic images. Nowadays, it's the 4 swords that I drew myself. But...
I beat the game, wow! Why is it still posting someone on my screen? Okay.
Like, if I skip ahead a bunch. So, apparently this is an hour long.
In launcher, there is a settings button. By default, it's window mode. You have to change it.
So, I was Googling things in the middle of doing that.
Kung Fu Master.
Okay, so I move the camera over there if I turn these off.
There.
Oh, there's a chocobo loading sign. So, like, I started this forever ago. Oh, that frame rate is not good. Oh, that frame rate is not good. Oh, that is awful frame rate. Oh, my goodness. That is like the worst. What the heck is that thing? What was I fighting?
Scripted, right?
What is this thing? I have no idea.
Attack an enemy with a equipped weapon? Sure.
The frame rate of that is not very good, to say the least. So that was apparently the first stream. What does the second one look like? This is the one that I believe had the busted audio. I think. I don't hear anything. Maybe it was just completely silent.
Just checking them
Maybe
all.
I'm misremembering, and it was just completely silent.
Nothing there.
Okay, I misremembered.
Get into overdrive.
The game was silent. Okay, I literally misremembered. It wasn't that the audio was busted, it's that the audio wasn't there at all. Huh, it's been so long ago that I what was I getting it mixed up with then? I wonder.
This is bother. Okay, good.
So these still.
Oh, it's immune
what
to
the heck is
darkness,
that
okay.
thing? So this still exists like on my computer.
I don't think that there's much point in doing that right now.
Yeah, there's not much
Instead of
point in
doing a
doing
regular
whatever
attack.
that is right now. I have literally no idea. Throw that ball at the
Yeah, let's
thing.
overwrite the existing file.
So like it still exists on my computer technically, but like it only exists on my computer. It was like one of 3 playthroughs that I deleted from Twitch/YouTube. There was that one, which I think was the first. The second one was Hyrule Warriors, which I actually went on to re-upload later down the line, despite the fact that some of the ones had completely busted audio, because it was meant to be like a celebration of the new Hyrule Warriors game coming out. And the last one was Xenoblade Chronicles X, because that was a very, very... I was a very new streamer, streaming that back then, and so it was racked with problems of its own. But most notably, my save file for that is on here. This was the USB that I put into my Wii U that the save file was on, and as you can see, that's not exactly gonna go into a USB slot anymore. Like, the plastic casing around the actual, like, bit that is the USB broke off. I don't know if there's a way to replace that, or if this USB is just screwed forever. If there's a way to replace that, I could technically recover my save file, but in theory, there's no way to continue that playthrough. So if I ever did Xenoblade Chronicles X on this channel, I'd probably emulate it for 2 reasons. Or for maybe even more than 2 reasons, multiple reasons. One is so I wouldn't have to buy another big USB stick to freaking re-download the massive updates that Xenoblade Chronicles X had, and also store its save file and all that fun stuff. And reason number 2 is if I emulate it, I would then be able to show the gamepad screen on the stream, because there's no way otherwise that I can have like a capture card running through my gamepad and record stuff like that. So it'd be nice to actually be able to show when I'm doing stuff on the gamepad, which is very important for Xenoblade X when you're planning out like node lines and all that fun stuff and accessing a bunch of stuff on the map. It's nice to be able to show that on stream. It might present issues of its own, like frame rate issues and stuff like that, and I've tested it out a little bit and it's way foggier in emulation than in the original, but it'd be fascinating anyway. And also, the battery life of my Wii U gamepad is probably about 40 minutes. Like 40. So, like, I really can't stream anything on my Wii U with the gamepad for extended periods of time anyway without having it constantly be plugged in. And I can't plug more things in or change around the way things are plugged in. Like, if I grab my phone flashlight, hold on. Yeah, the plug situation is, not exactly changeable, is the thing. So, like, you know, so I have 3 reasons for potentially emulating it. So those are the 3 series that I deleted from Twitch/YouTube. The 3 playthroughs that I ever did that I deleted from Twitch/YouTube. Final Fantasy X, Hyrule Warriors, Xenoblade X. Though Hyrule Warriors was re-uploaded, and one of the reasons that Final Fantasy X and freaking Xenoblade 10, Xenoblade X stopped is because they were never finished, and at this point probably never can be finished. I'd have to start them from the beginning. But yeah, Lance, you very vaguely remember watching your dad play Final Fantasy X. Well, maybe it's something I would come back to on this channel one day. But yeah, Hawks, you don't really hate any Final Fantasy game yourself. You even like one of the most hated Final Fantasy games called Final Fantasy 13. How many Final Fantasies does it even go up to? I think I've heard up until 15 before. Like, how high does it go up to anyway? So unless Manuela can take anyone out, she can't even get over the- wait. There's no way you can Nosferatu. Gosh darn it! 16 was announced last year. Okay, so there's 15 right now, but there's like 16 in the works.
Be mindful.
There's no way I can hit you both with... Gosh darn it. Wait a second. Oh, I can't get to that side. Oh, I can get to this side. Does it go that much forward? No, it freaking doesn't! What do I do about this? Oh, wait, if I mark this... Okay, Manuela can still be safe, technically. I mean... Okay. Okay, so yeah, there's like the lost series of this channel, I guess. The story of those, I was not planning on talking about those today. But yeah, so those technically still... Wait, the archer would attack? No, the archer can't move. Wait. Oh no, it's freaking fine. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's just, try to swarm you, I guess. But yeah, so I mean... Oh, come on! on! Oh, man. Well, I'll try a different attack in that case. That's what I shall do. I figured at least one of those 50-50s should land. Is what I figured. 60, huh? No! No! If she can't get this, I literally can't save Manuela! She's going to die!
Them out. Leave it to me.
Soul Blade, 85. Okay.
You underestimated me.
Okay. Thank goodness for Soul Blade. After half a year, I still remember that that's a combat art that Lysithea has.
Let's take them out.
After this long, I still remember that. My goodness. Okay, let's heal up there. But yeah, so if I ever did, like, wind up re-uploading stuff like Final Fantasy X to my YouTube channel, it would probably be if I ever did, like, an actual full playthrough on the channel, and then those would be included as, like, bonus episodes at the end, is a thing. Like, being only the way to win, what is this, Lunatic Plus? I mean, basically. That's basically what it feels like a lot of the time, huh? It's been literally half a year since I touched this, so I have no idea what I'm getting myself into when it comes to the difficulty, honestly. If it's gonna be something spicy spice.
Making my muscles proud.
But yeah, if I can finish off Fire Emblem Awakening Lunatic Plus Classic, which I mean, that game's beaten. It's just like the DLC and Apotheosis that I want to cover at the end. Lunatic Plus 2, the sequel. Sure, I'll aura you. Cool. Yeah, if I can finish off those two things. Oh, you're the one that has the experience gem. Then I would feel much better about myself and be like, hey, look at that. Many more things are like finished off and stuff. Isn't that great? And then I can move on to other Fire Emblem games. Like, in terms of gameplay, the ones that I like the best are honestly Fire Emblem Fates. Fire Emblem Fates has a really cool progression and gameplay system. It definitely has its problems. It's far from perfect, but like, in terms of any of the Fire Emblem games I've played, I'd say it's my favorite in terms of like the gameplay and progression and making, because it's perfect for people like me who make spreadsheets and try to perfect their characters and have the means to do so. It's like a very, very nice environment for that kind of thing. The music of that game is freaking fantastic. Oh my goodness, I guess I'll use Diamond Axe. The story sucks though. The story sucks in Fates. But I'll be darned if the music isn't absolutely fantastic. And can you heal? You can't. If the music isn't absolutely fantastic. And a lot of people judge the gameplay because there was no like weapon durability and such, and there was not really too much of a downside to using weapons up until like steel, apart from like it lowering some speed and stuff, and silver weapons would give you like a debuff afterwards and all kinds of weird things like that. But that meant that I could just like work up to making those weapons better and better without having to worry about them breaking. Or I could factor that into my dedicated builds. And the ways that the amount of different classes in that game and the ways that you pass down skills with like, you know, passing it down to children as well as having like buddy seals and marriage seals and stuff like that also lets you unlock different class options for everybody. It's like for crazy Excel spreadsheet nerds like me in games like these, it's like it was literally designed for people like me, is what Fire Emblem Fates feels like in terms of its gameplay. So that is probably going to be the Fire Emblem game that we cover on this channel the longest after Three Houses. One, because there's like the 3 routes to that as well. And 2, I can see myself having a lot of fun like perfecting builds and doing all sorts of, you know, build-oriented stuff and really making the perfect parties that I can and having a lot of fun with that. And that's what I did during my second playthrough of Three Houses, and then I just got a big smackaroo to the face when it was like, oh, you're 105 hours, how about we just take that away? And then gradually I became like more and more sad about the whole thing as the thing went on, until eventually I just stopped playing this mid playthrough of this playthrough right here of the Golden Deer route, because I just started disliking things more and more and more bit by bit. So like, you know, I might just make a freaking Fire Emblem Three Houses video essay one of these days. But yeah, I really want you to make that video essay on Three Houses with like the way that it handles progression and stuff, because there are still lots of fantastic things about about this game. Like, the different routes are intriguing. I still don't know how, like, Three Houses ends, and I'm gonna be intrigued to see, like, or not Three Houses, how Golden Deer ends, and I'm gonna be intrigued to see that. I technically don't know how the Empire route goes, but I can roughly guess it. Like, you team up with Edelgard, you freaking go after the church or whatever the heck, and apparently both Black Eagle's final bosses are the same. Like, they're both Rhea, so it's like, okay, I know what the final boss is, you go and beat the big freaking dragon, so I don't really... You know, I don't really care too much about spoilers with that. I mean, I technically know what the final boss of the Golden Deer route is as well, just because freaking being on the internet for so long in, you know, communities that, you know, are super into that kind of thing. Like, it's hard to, especially when browsing memes for me to post live when I go with this game, it's hard for me to avoid memes that showcase, like, you know, part of the final boss and stuff like that, or like his face and things like that. So I know who it is, the final boss of the Golden Deer route. I don't know why he's there, like what the story behind him being the final boss is. I'll be intrigued to find out. So, like, I could definitely talk about the story of Three Houses a decent bit. I do find it intriguing. Like, I don't think it's a masterpiece of a story or anything. I mean, we'll find out if I really like the Golden Deer one. I do think that's cool how the... I did really, really like the Blue Lion story, though, honestly. Like, I don't think it's a masterpiece of a story. I think I've only given that kind of title in my head to, like, 4 or 5 games, like, ever. But I actually did really, really like the Blue Lions route, and the way that it focused on, like, the relationships between Dimitri and others, and the way that it showcased, like, the darkness in him is never going to be something that you can just, like, easily defeat and overcome. Like, it's always going to be a part of you, but what's important is how much control you let it have over you, and how you let it, like, dictate your life and such, to what extent, essentially. Like, he always acknowledges, like, even after he goes through the massive change, he still acknowledges, like, oh, I still have these feelings inside of me, like, there's still this dark side of me, but, like, you know, I deal with it in a controllable way instead of it letting dictate all my actions. And I think that's a really cool stance to take, unlike a lot of stories where it's just like, oh, a character goes down a dark path, you know what, they go through this revelation and then bam, they're all better now, they're back to their happy, cheery self. They totally overcame this dark side of themselves, nothing wrong there. Whereas Blue Lions was like, he didn't overcome with it, he just more so learned how to cope with it properly, and how to have it not necessarily dictate all his actions. That doesn't mean that it's gone completely. And I think that that's a really cool approach to take, so I honestly really did enjoy the story of Blue Lions. And I feel like the Golden Deer route, if I had to guess, is probably going to have a greater focus on, like, the lore of the world and the overall story, whereas Blue Lions was about the relationship between Dimitri and his comrades. So I expect more from this route in terms of, like, the world and stuff like that, and the overall story it tells. We'll see what it winds up being. But yeah, something that you feel about this game is that its presentation isn't as good as the 3DS Fire Emblems. I do feel like the 3DS charm of, like, the 2D sprites is something that's just, like, you know, not really contestable in some regards. Like, the 2D sprites and kind of charm and such is just really good. Should I just use Soul Blade again for fun? Freaking heck yeah. Let's do it. But yeah, I can agree with that when it comes to the visuals and stuff. But it would be, like, you know, a kind of semi-strange thing for the Switch, I guess. Okay, we hit some hiccups, but we did manage to clear this map. I mean, basically at this point. Map is basically cleared. Yeah, sure, let's just do that, I suppose. But yeah, and in terms of music, I think this game is freaking fantastic. Like, this is a very, very awesome game in terms of music. Like, I think that in terms of music, it was probably my game of the year for, I guess, 2019 then. I think this might have been my game of the year for 2019 in general, despite the fact that, you know, I didn't even... It's 2021 now, we're a year and a half later. And I still haven't finished up my Three Houses playthrough, technically. Is the thing. You know this is the most perfect FE game ever made, and you want to convince yourself it isn't, lol, obviously joking. Yeah, it's definitely... I would definitely still say it is a very strong entry to the Fire Emblem series, and definitely, like, an entry that's worth my time for, you know, maybe one playthrough. But I just think that if the developers expect every player to do, like, all 4 routes to get all the stories, then that's a little bit ridiculous. At least in Fire Emblem Fates, even if the routes freaking sucked, even if the storytelling in Fire Emblem Fates sucked, at least each route was completely different, instead of 3 houses where it's just like, oh, here's a freaking 70-hour JRPG times 4, except the first 40 hours are almost the exact same every time. Like, the only difference is being, like, the units that you use and the support conversations you get in some specific cutscenes where they, like, interact with the world differently. But that's it. To hail? Gosh darn it. I guess I'll heal. Yeah, it's definitely very interesting. Something very interesting about it is my German exchange partner actually told me, I believe it was during one of my Fire Emblem Three Houses streams last year, he wound up telling me that apparently he was writing an essay, like, for university on Fire Emblem Three Houses and on Edelgard and, like, convictions and morals and such when it comes to her character. It's a very, very intriguing game. I will definitely agree with that. But it is definitely far from perfect. And I can if I made a video essay on this game, I can definitely break it apart, especially after spending, you know, half a year away from it. Just not being able to have the motivation to bring myself to it.
We're all unstoppable.
Too bad if I ever... What? I got an 8% crit again? If I ever make a freaking gang, I'm gonna be patrolling the streets as the Death God Gang.
I could learn a thing or two.
My goodness. Well, we've seen this a whole bunch, so I'm just gonna, like, skip past it, I guess. Whatever. My goodness, you're the MVP, Claude. Yeah, you're totally cool and stuff. Oh, man. But yeah, I do have a lot to say about this game. But yeah, in terms of the story, I mentioned the stuff with Blue Lines and with Golden Deer. I don't know how Golden Deer is going to play out. I do look forward to finding out and such. I feel like it will be focusing more on, like, the overall lore of the world. And the overall story of the world, I should say. When it came to the Black Eagles church route that I did, from what I've heard, the Empire route is the shortest of them all, and apparently isn't, like, super good and fleshed out. And I feel like the story for the Black Eagles route would have been much better if it was just one route instead of it splitting right before the time skip into the church route and the Empire route. If it was just like one Black Eagles route and that was it, and you go and join Edelgard. I feel like it would have been a whole lot better than the church route being lore drops, I guess, and that's basically all it is. And there's no real story much apart from freaking lore drops in that. And the Empire route apparently not being very good from what I hear, and probably also being, like, lore drops. Especially after they marketed, like, Dimitri, Edelgard, and Claude are, like, the 3 kind of main protagonists of the game, where it's like, whichever one you follow is going to be, like, one of your main protagonists of the story. But the one that they marketed the most as the, like, most main protagonist, essentially, the most go-to route out of all of them, was Edelgard and the Black Eagles. She's the one that got the most marketing, the most promotional kind of stuff. They were like, this is gonna be your new freaking flagship lord that, like, represents the game. And then her route becomes arguably the worst, because, I mean, I don't know how the Empire route goes yet, since I haven't played it myself, but just from what I've heard, and from the one of those 2 routes that I played, it can hurt it. But yeah, Claude's definitely your favorite of the 3 lords. I feel like he's an underused character in comparison to the other lords, though. Yeah, that can definitely be the case. In Hawk's 4 routes, that seems a bit excessive. Yeah, it was marketed as 3 routes, being Black Eagles, Blue Lions, and Golden Deer. But the Black Eagles route splits off, like, right before the halfway point, where it's like, okay, do you want to join Edelgard during her war, or do you want to freaking not join Edelgard? Which I didn't know what the choice was going to lead up to that, and I wound up being against her, and I didn't know that was how it was going to be, I guess, but that was what I did first. I feel like its story would have been much better if it was just one thing instead of it having the split off. I feel like that really hurt it, essentially. There's a lot of things that really hurt this game overall, and meh. I definitely have some problems with this game. It is still a very strong contender in the Fire Emblem series, and a really cool game in its own right. And very intriguing, honestly. But after putting in over 250 hours into this game, and after having to take a break from it of over half a year, in smack dab in the middle of a playthrough because I couldn't get motivated to continue in the middle of a playthrough, it says something.